this was unit 8. But because of all the COVID breaks we've had and the week off because of weather, we no longer are doing a full unit 8. So y'all just finished taking the last unit test, okay? Now we've got our DBA and you got the actual STAR test. And that's it in terms of major tests, all right? So we are gonna go over just a little bit of what unit 8 is. We're not gonna hammer it hard, and then if we got any time left over, we're just gonna quickly review some old stuff. All right, so this unit, or what was this unit, was called exponentials. And it's called exponentials because the x is an exponent, okay? So we've seen exponents, but they've been like 2s and 3s. Now the x is an exponent, okay? And so anytime that we have the x as an exponent, the a, which is always the number up front, is always called the initial value. That's like the y-intercept. The b is always, it's usually in parentheses too. The b is usually in parentheses, and it's called the growth value. Now, if the growth value is bigger than 1, it's growing. If it's less than 1, it's what we call decaying, okay? Have y'all ever heard of somebody dying and then they're like, the people that what do you call them, like CSI or whatever, comes in and they're like, based off of the different things, we predict they died like 5 days ago, or they died a year ago, or okay, something like that. Well, what they're doing is they're finding how quickly their body's decaying, okay? Now, my body is like, so like, if it's less than 1, it's decaying. So like a person that died, you know, maybe they're at a 0.75. Okay, so their body's decaying, and at 0.75, that tells these people how quickly they've died. I don't know all that stuff, but that's what that's telling me. My body's doing something different. My body is like at a 2.5. What is, or 2.8? That looks like 8 right there. What does that mean? If it's bigger than 1, what's happening to my body? If it's bigger than 1, it's growing. Okay, so my body's growing. Okay, I need it to decay, but it's not decaying because apparently you can't decay your body with chocolate and candy. So that's a bad thing. Also, too much pasta is bad. So anyways, so anytime it's above a 1, it's growing. Anytime it's smaller than 1, it's decaying. All right, so all we're gonna do is practice the what we call the initial amount. So the initial amount is always the front number. So right here on number 1, what's the initial amount? 129. That means that if we were just simply looking at weight, you know, that this person maybe started at 129 pounds. Now, this number is the growth or decay value. If it's bigger than 1, then they're growing. So this person right here, 1 point something, they're growing. Okay, so 1.63, this would be a growth factor. It's decay if it's smaller than 1. And that's it. That's all we're looking at right there. Oh, you need to go to the restroom. There you go. You're welcome. All right. So take a look at number 2. All right, so I don't know what this is talking about, but where did they start? So remember, this is where you always start. This person started at 129 pounds or 129 something. This right here, oh, I know what this is. This is my checking account right here. So where did my checking account start? At $2. Yep. And this is our factor. Now, would this be a growth or decay factor? Is my bank account getting bigger or smaller? Smaller. Smaller. It's less than 1. That's a decay. So decay would be smaller. So the first number tells you where it starts. The second number tells us if it's growing or getting smaller. Okay, this one's kind of tricky. I don't like this one. All right, so this is our initial. Whatever it is, we're starting at 12, whatever that is, starting at 12. But this fraction is weird. It's hard to tell if this is bigger than 1 or smaller than 1. So here's the rule. If the number on top is bigger, it's bigger than 1. So 17 is bigger than 10. This is bigger than 1. So this is a growth factor, and the factor is 17 over 10. All right, number 4, so that first number is the initial amount. And then the top number is smaller, so this is a decay. 1 over 8. So make sure you're writing this down, if nothing else. Obviously, with us barely going over this, we don't expect you to be great at this, but this is on the STAR test, okay? It is on the STAR test. How many questions? 1 or 2. This is not big on the STAR test. That's why we're like, you know what? If we don't get to cover this all that much, we're okay with that, because we're talking just a couple of questions. But you can see it's really not that hard, okay? Just knowing that the front number is your beginning, and then the second number is if we're growing or decaying. All right, is everybody good? Good. All right, so let me show you what some of these questions would look like. So first off, they give you an equation here. You could type this in the calculator, but we don't need to. What really stands out is this T right here, that T, okay? So this is exponential anytime they put the letter as an exponent. So it says describe the current price of the guitar. Let's see. So the current price would be, where did it start? So we bought a new guitar, okay? Now, every year that you have this guitar, it depreciates unless I sign the guitar. Now, if I sign it, it gets more value. But y'all didn't know that I could play, right? Yeah, I can. I suck. I have no rhythm whatsoever. Like, I suck so bad at music, I struggle to turn on the radio. I am terrible at music. All right. That was a joke. Nope, not even a crack of a smile. Okay, never mind. All right. So you buy this new guitar, and they want to know what the current price of the guitar is. So what was the initial price? What was the beginning price of this guitar? The very front number is your beginning price. So how much did this guitar cost you? Dear Lord, who is spending $8,000 on a guitar? That is ridiculous. That is crazy. $8,000. Like, get a stick and put some strings on it or something. I don't know. $8,000. That's crazy. All right. But you can see that wasn't a hard question, was it? Okay. So the beginning price is always the front number. That's it. Okay. Now, the 0.92 means the value of that guitar is going down. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next one. It says Veronica bought a new lawnmower worth $2,000, which depreciates. Now, this right here kind of gives you a little hint on what's going on here. Okay. So first off, what was the beginning cost of our lawnmower? What was the beginning? How much did our lawnmower cost to begin with? $2,000. That number always goes up front immediately. I can mark off A, I can mark off C, because the 2,000's got to go up front. Now, this is kind of weird because it says it depreciates at 9%. What they're doing is 100% would be staying the same, but it's depreciating. So they subtract 9 and it comes out to 91%. 91% as a decimal would be 0.91. So both of these say 0.91, but this for some reason puts 2x here. It should just have a regular x. I don't know why they put a 2 there. Now, in the end, here's all we really cared about. It depreciated. It had to be less than 1, right? So even if you didn't know why they came up with 91%, just the fact that it was less than 1 meant that it was decaying or depreciating. That D means going down. Okay. Now this, it should not matter. Matter of fact, if I was disappointed on anything with y'all's test, there were a lot of us that missed this question on the test. There was a question that had a table, and all you had to do was to type in the answers, hit menu 5-1, and check the table, okay? Now, there is a little trick here, though, that can help you. So we said that the front number always had to be the beginning point, the starting point. That would be the y-intercept right here. Immediately, you should be able to mark off 2 answers. Because now a lot of kids just start typing these in and checking the menu 5-1, you type in the X, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the 0 right here tells me my starting point has to be at -3. There's no way it can be these two. Oh, wrong one. Has to start with a -3. All right, so all we're going to do is type this into our calculator. So we're going to type in, let me grab my paper here. So we're going to type in -3 parentheses 1. And then, okay, so to put the X, you got to hit the house top. I hope everybody remembers this house top right here. So this house top button, and then you put the X and hit enter. And then I can automatically tell you that's not the answer, but let's just type it in real quick. So we type in -4, hit enter, and -4 says -3. My table does not, so that's not the answer. So I'm going to hit tab and go up, and I'm going to switch this to D. So I'm going to take that out, put a 4. I'm going to go ahead and add my parentheses here just because I like the parentheses if they're there. All right, so that right there looks like D. We're going to hit enter. This is what it should look like, and you're going to see this here in a second. It kind of forms this weird looking, almost L kind of shape, okay? And so we're going to hit menu 5-1, and you can see right here, we got -4 gives me a point. Okay, this rounded that up from 0.117 to 0.12. So our calculator kind of rounded that right there, but that's it. Type in -1, hit enter, and you can definitely see it comes out to 0.75. You could keep going. 0 is -3. 1 you could see is -12. So the answer would be D. Guys, even if I didn't teach this to you today, you should have been able to do that one right there. And that's what kind of disappointed me on the last test is that they gave us a table and equations, and a lot of us missed that question. All right, number 8. So once again, we have y equals right here. So we're just typing these in and checking our answer. Now, once again, where the y-intercept is, that 0 tells me it's not going to be A and it's not going to be D. It's got to be either B or C. That's our beginning amount right there. All right, so let's type in. So let's go type this in. And we got 3 parentheses, 5, close parentheses. Hit that house top, and then you can put the X in right there. So hit enter. You can see it's, once again, it's kind of an L-looking shape right there. Menu 5-1, and we are typing in -2. And -2 gives me 0.12. Type in -1, it gives me 0.6. And you can type in 0, see it's at 3. You can type 1. So you can type in any of those. You got to check at least 2 though. And so our answer is going to be B. So super, super easy questions right there. Jaden, is that you? Is that you? Or one of y'all? Somebody sounds it. All right. Thank you. All right. So look at number 9. Okay, this is what the graphs look like. Once again, you should be able to do this even without me teaching you how to do it. Why? Because they give you a picture right here, this graph, and then they give you y equals. All you got to do is type these in and then see which one matches it. So we're just going to go type these in real quick. So we're going to go type this in. So we got, oh, let me turn my paper over. So we got 3 parentheses 2. And then you're going to do the house top again, type in your X. Now, here's where you could mess something up. Right now, this cursor is small like the X. If I hit -1 right now, this is wrong. That -1 is left small. You got to make sure that you hit either down or to the side and then put your -1. That -1 should be just as big as the 2 here. Then we hit enter. What do y'all think? Does this match? So first off, does this right here cross in between -2 and -1? Yes. It flattens out at -1. This is actually called the asymptote. We'll talk more about the asymptote later, but it gets really, really flat, and it looks like it touches -1, but it actually never does. And like I said, we'll maybe talk about that on Wednesday. I don't know. And then right here, it crosses the y axis at 2. So yeah, this is my answer right here. Okay. So they should not put 2 answers that are so close that it confuses you. If you're kind of checking all the key points, then that should be our answer right there. All right, so this should be A. All right, and then we're typing this one in as well. Just type it in and see if it matches the graph. So we're going to type in 2 housetop X. Make sure you arrow out of the exponent to put your +2. Hit enter. Okay, that is definitely not it. That's easy to see because, you know, it crosses up here like at 3. It should be crossing at 1. This should be flattening out on the x-axis. And so that's definitely not it. Do I have one? Oh, yeah, they're all kind of close. So I'm going to hit tab and go up. And I'm going to change this to a -1. So a -1, hit enter. That's close, but this is touching here at the center. It should be touching at 1, so that's not it. We're just going to put 2x now. Ah, look at that one. That one gets, it touches at +1. It gets really close to the x-axis. It actually never touches it. Like I said, we call that an asymptote. And then, oh, you know what? We do need to talk about asymptotes. I forgot about that. Because I have a very funny saying. It's one of my favorite sayings. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we got to remember, because I'm going to tell people, I'm going to kick you in the asymptote. And I get really close to saying something, but I don't say it. So that's what an asymptote is. It gets really close, but it never actually gets there. Yeah. One of my favorite sayings. Oh, we're going to miss out on that this year because we don't have Unit 8. All through Unit 8, I get to be a little kid again. I'm going to kick you in the asymptote. Gonna miss that. My immaturity now. I don't have a release for that immature self that, you know, I still have. All right. So the answer here was C. All right, for the rest of these, we're not actually going to do these. I just want to quickly talk about them real quick. Anytime you see just one basic equation, does everybody remember where you do this? One basic equation. You go to regular calculator and you hit menu what? 3-1. Remember, this is InSolve right there. Anytime you have one basic equation, we go to InSolve. Okay? I'm going to do the one below it actually real quick. There are 2 equations right here. So 2 equations. With 1 equation, we go to menu 3-1. With 2 equations, where do we go? Menu 3-2. So menu 3-2. I do want to remind you on the menu 3-1, remember at the end of it, you're not done until you put the what? The comma X. So remember on InSolve, you got to put the comma X. On menu 3-2, you just got to type them in. Okay. All right, number 12. So on number 12, we see y equals. So we want to, this is an easy one, guys. So when we talk about on the STAR test, we're looking for easy stuff. This is one of the ones you're looking for, right? We got y equals. So you type this into graphs. We hit menu 5-1. And then what are we going to do? How do we find our answer? After we hit menu 5-1, do y'all remember? There's no words that tell me what to do, but what do you have that tells me what to do? You got a number. So we just type in. Matter of fact, we all look kind of on that. We're gonna do this one real quick. All right, so we're gonna go to our calculator because there's a y equals. One of our rules is if you see y equals, you type it into the calculator. So I'm gonna type this in real quick. Plus 5x minus 3. We hit enter. We hit menu 5-1, right? Now, There's no words that tell me what to do. And remember, just hitting menu 5-1 does not give you an answer, okay? So we have to look for something here. We see this random number. Even if you don't know what this number means, we type that number in. So we type in -4 because you saw a random number and it says -4 and 41. Look at your answers. Should be A, 41 right there. Okay. Oh, yes. Go ahead and take that pass and go back. Yeah, just take that same pass. All right. This one we just got through talking about. Okay. So we just got through talking about one like this in the last unit. When you see y equals and points, all we do is we type these in and then we check these 2 points. So you'll hit menu 5-1, you'll type in 4, you'll type in -1 and see if those points match. We've got to be great at that right there. Those are easy, okay? We want to be great at those. All right, take a look at 15. All right, so this one we haven't talked about in a couple of weeks now. What do you see here that tells us we can type this in the calculator? Do y'all remember? Anybody remember? This we should be typing this under graphs. Do y'all remember what we see that tells us we can type this in the calculator? Anybody? No equal sign. Remember that when there is no equal sign, but it looks like an equation. Now, it still has to look like an equation. If it doesn't look like an equation, it doesn't count. We type this into the calculator, then we type in our answers into the calculator. And so let's just say we type this into the calculator, it comes out red. Then these also look like equations, but they don't have equal signs. So we start typing these into the calculator, and I'm looking for the answer that makes this change colors. So once this ceases to be red and it switches to I think the next color is black. So it switches to black. That's my answer right there. Okay. All right. This is kind of the same thing, except they only give us one factor. So this is the one where you type this into the calculator, and it looks like this right here. And then we start typing in our answers, but these come out as lines. That would not be an answer. This would not be an answer. But this one, where they cross the x-axis at the same spot, that is our answer right there. Do y'all remember doing those? Okay. So we cannot forget how to do these right here. Okay. Today we were running out of time, so I wanted to make sure we at least talked about it.